Hey jalapenos, it's your girl, Allegra with an E, representing a dash of diversity. And I'm back in the kitchen. Today, I'm going to be making for you Galumpkis. What are Galumpkis? If you Google Galumpkis, you're going to find multiple recipes for stuffed cabbage. Polish have it, Middle Eastern have it, but I'm going to make you my version today, which is closer to the Pennsylvania Dutch way. We're going to start with a pot of boiling water. A low simmer will be perfect. Next, when shopping for your head of cabbage, see if you can find one that has big leaves and not a whole lot of ridges on it. Alright y'all, now we got to be very safe. We're going to put this head of cabbage in the water. If you do what I did, I tried to put it in with the cord down and then I had to flip it. So just use some tongs and be very careful. As you can see, once I flipped it, that first leaf was already ready to pull off. So the reason you want to flip it is so that those smaller leaves cook, because the bigger outer leaves are going to cook pretty quickly. While the cabbage is cooking, go ahead and chop your onion, garlic, and parsley. That sound effect is making my knife skills sound immaculate. Don't get it twisted, they're not that great. Now we turn our attention back to the cabbage. We're going to pull each leaf off carefully, trying not to rip the leaves. If they do rip, no big deal. They can still be used. As you can see, I used a colander to hold the cabbage leaves as I was pulling them off. I wanted to drain the excess water off and just have them cool down as I pull them off. Here's a small tip. If while you're pulling you can't find the edge of the cabbage, just use the tongue to continuously dunk the head down into the water and you will see the leaf pull away from the head of cabbage. Now when you get down to that last small piece where you don't think you'll be able to use the leaves anymore, don't throw it away. You know that water we cooked the cabbage in? We're not throwing it away. We're going to use that to add some flavor. So that small piece of cabbage at the end, I just gave it a rough chop and added it to the water. Now it's time to get that cutting board out so we can prep our cabbage leaves. You see that rib? A lot of people cut the whole thing out. Just like this. We're not going to do that. I'm going to show you how to do this so that you can fold the leaf easier without that rib getting in your way. All you do is just cut a nice piece off of the top of it, making it thinner, so that makes it easy for you to fold the cabbage when it comes time to fold them. Now we're just going to repeat the process and get all the leaves prepped. As you can see, I have a sheet pan on the side and I'm just going to prep the leaves and lay them flatly there. Again, they're still going to be hot, so be careful and don't throw away those broken leaves. No worries, we can use them. Now that we have our cabbage leaves all prepped, we have our water on the stove, it is now time to prep the meat, the filling. The pack of meat you see here is 80-20 blend. It is approximately 3 pounds. I believe it was like 2.84. I threw a glove on because the mix can get a little messy, so do you. You're cooking for your family, so You do it the way that you want. I'm going to add the meat into the veggies and give it a good mix. Now for the seasoning part, as you can see, I'm using sea salt, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of forgot. I use this occasionally. If you don't know, sea salt and iodized salt, Himalayan salt, whatever salt that you use, the saltiness is very different. So if you've never used sea salt before, you need to use probably double the amount. Once this was said and done, I felt like I oversalted, but it definitely needed more. So I'm going to say salt to taste. Anyway, moving on. I have garlic powder, onion powder, some smoked paprika, black pepper, and that was all I put in for the seasoning. When it comes to red meat, this girl, I like to keep it simple. There isn't a lot of flavoring that goes in, but like I said, this could have used more. So when you're seasoning your meat, especially red meat, remember that you need to salt it properly. Here I'm adding leftover white rice. I'm putting in the whole bowl. Depending on how you like your meat to rice ratio. Some people like more meat, some people like more rice, some people like an even ratio. I like it more meaty, so just depending on your liking, I would say add the rice that way. I'm adding 1 egg to use as a binding agent because I want it to all stay together inside of the leaf. So 1 egg was enough. That's all you need. Let's set that aside and talk about the pan for a second. Do not use a Dollar Tree pan. You need a deep, sturdy aluminum pan. So you guys, I'm gonna apologize ahead of time. I lost the clip on how to roll the cabbage, and I'm so upset because it was a great clip. I have been in TikTok trying to edit this video for the last 2 hours. So this is the best I could do to show you. Pretty much it's the same way you roll a burrito. Put in the meat, fold the sides over, and roll up. Too easy, right? And this, my friends, is the result of all your beautiful rolling. Look how pretty that looks. Next up is the sauce, and the sauce is the boss. Time for the sauce. We're going to use the water we reserved in the pot and strain out the cabbage that we added and put that also in the secondary pot. I used about 1/3 of that water. Put it on the stove just to simmer while we add in our seasoning. It's going to be salt, black pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, 2 bay leaves, 2 cans of diced tomatoes, and 3 caps of apple cider vinegar. And surprise, half a bottle of ketchup. We're also going to use that large spoon and add a whole spoon of sugar. Let it simmer for about 3 to 4 minutes, and now we're going to cover the cabbage with the sauce, barely covering it. We don't want it all the way to the top, just barely covering. Now let's go ahead, cover this baby up nice and tight, put her in the oven at 375 for 1 hour. And voila, look at that. They're so good. And the very next day, even better. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. Follow me on YouTube, Facebook, Insta, and now lemonade.